Okay, so I work at a movie theater, and as you might imagine, the past weekend was, a little bit wacky. And it brought out some wacky people, some wacky little antics occurred. And it's a nice day, so I figured I'd just, take a little seat on the floor out here and talk about some of the stuff that happened. If I could just remember what happened. Well, for starters, Thursday night, I was asked to come in and I worked the box office. And it was pretty, uneventful. A lot of people showed up for like the 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, stuff like that, but we had like a 9 and a 9:45, and then you wouldn't get out of there until like 12:30 at night, so not a lot of people showed up for that, but had a couple of interesting encounters on the phone. One of which was from a guy looking for tickets or something, and he asked, have you heard anything about the movie? And I was like, yeah, I'm hearing it's good. Even people who, didn't like Infinity War thought Endgame was good. And his immediate response was, oh yeah, Infinity War was trash, and I agree. I completely agree. But the way he said it was just like, oh yeah, that was trash. So, yeah, then we had a very short conversation about why. And then we hung up. And then I went about my business. Can you stop? Then there was another phone call, later at night. And I was like, hello, so-and-so cinemas. 'Cause that's what you say. And the girl on the phone, like, turned to someone in the room with her and said, see, I told you that was the theater. Thank you. And I was just, like, waiting for them to say something else so that I could help them with whatever problem they had, but they just hung up. They called with the sole purpose of determining whether or not... Can you, like... of determining whether or not they were calling that theater. And I just started laughing my ass off because you gotta cling to the little things when you're stuck in a box for 5 hours. And my boss came in like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And I was like, told him the story, and he was like, okay. So that was that. Then Friday happens. And, it's Friday, opening night, you got a lot of fucking people. There's lines out the door, wrapping around the building. And there's this guy who, he comes to the mic, right? And asks what the deal is with the line, and I tell him, yeah, this is all for the next showing of Endgame. You're probably gonna get stuck in the fucking front row, you're fucked. Like, I didn't say that, because I can't say fuck at work. But you get the gist. So he, like, takes his jacket hood and kind of puts it over the mic, right? And he says, and he just sort of, like, what would happen if I were to bribe the usher in there? Like, I got some ones. These ones could be your ones. And I was just there, like... 'Cause, like, I know he's joking, right? But my boss, I don't know whenever my boss is gonna walk in, he's the type of guy who will just, like, come in, and I don't want him to not understand what's going on. And I'm like, sir, I can't do this. I'm so sorry. And just, like, his girlfriend or something is there laughing at him, and I'm just like, ah. So, you get your free entertainment times like this. It's usually a pretty quiet theater, so I'm grateful for the little things. And then you had a guy who I think he worked at the Papa John's up the road. I think he probably just walked there from the job, and he kind of like peeked under the little hole where you're supposed to, like, put in your fucking money or whatever and exchange goods. And he was like, how's it looking for 8 p.m. Endgame? And he came, like, either minutes before it began or as it was starting or, like, after it had begun. Like, at a bad time is what I'm trying to say. And, I was like, yeah, we still have tickets, but you're probably gonna get stuck in the front row. And nigh instantaneously, he goes, no! And runs down the street screaming. And immediately following that, I have a family come up to get tickets for the same thing or for another showing. And they were like, hi, how are you? And I said, confused, hi. And that guy came back about a half hour later for the 9 p.m. And I was like, hey, aren't you the guy who ran down the street screaming? And he was like, yeah. So, that was Friday. And then Saturday, I was, not in box. I was inside doing usher stuff. And, there was, like, a 9:30 a.m. showing, and I came in at 11:30. So I was there, like, an hour before it got out. Well, I don't know, like a half hour before it got out. And it was for like a birthday party, right? So there was a bunch of kids in there. And this little bundle of children comes out, and one of them just starts like rolling on the floor with great enthusiasm, obviously. And since, you know, I don't get my chance to see the movie until, like, literally tonight, Tuesday, day after my last shift. I should put my hand. And so she just starts talking about it, and with the portals, and I went like this, you know? Because I don't want to hear that shit. I already know enough spoilers. I know what I want to know, and I don't want to know anymore. So I was plugging my ears, and then one of my coworkers was like, hey, just go clean the bathroom, run. So I did that. I just sweep the floors a little bit, wipe off the counter. And then as I'm walking out, this kid is like running to the bathroom at maximum speed for a human being, and literally just like almost like head on collides with me. And okay, let me see if I can recreate what she did. She kind of just collapsed in the corner, like, and we both stood there, like, well, I stood there, she was on the fucking floor, as I just demonstrated. Hey. She was on the floor, as I just demonstrated. And we both just was, like, laughing for about a minute. And it was quite the child, too. She was wearing, you know, a whole colorful outfit. She had, like, the grid glasses, like, the grates with just the lines, no actual glass, and they were, like, flashing neon lights at me, and I was just like, where am I? You know? And so that was that. And then I was there for pretty much all but one showing of Endgame, so I saw the entirety of it, of the crowds anyway. And yeah, I'm not gonna edit this, so I'm sorry for all the jumpy dialogue and me pausing or muttering weirdly, or just like, you know, tearing the fuck out of leaves. But you're just gonna have to deal with that, because I don't have the fucking time. Anyways, people would, you know, queue up for every showing, because if you don't queue up, you're essentially fucked when it's Saturday, no matter what theater you go to. So there were these couple of kids at the front of the line for, like, what showing was it? It was a later one, and they were there with their parents. And the dad, like, was talking about Big Bang Theory or something. You know how parents are. And I was kind of distracted or something, because I'm just standing there as usher. And for a second I thought he was just trying to remember the name of the movie. I was like, oh dear God, Avengers Big Bang. So, trying not to go crazy and wanting social interaction because I'm fucking autistic, I brought this up to the young girl, like, I thought he was talking about the name of the fucking movie, and I brought up the concept, yeah, Sheldon dies in Endgame, the Big Bang Theory, Sheldon's last hurrah, and we all unanimously agreed that that was a wonderful idea for a film. So, yeah. Jim Parsons fucking dies, the movie. Oh, fuck. What the fuck? Okay. Yeah. So there's that. And, you know, other than that, Saturday was definitely the busiest, you know. Lines out the door for every screening. I was there from 11:30 in the morning to 8:15 at night. We were, like, training a new person, too, so it was a crazy day, but it was a good day, you know. I fucking love my job. I love working with those people. I love the patrons. I love what I do. So it's just great. Do I have sweat stains already? No, but you can really see my pit hair. I haven't shaved in like 3 weeks. Anyways, forgot to bring up something from Saturday night. So, I was there until just 10:15. You know, not really the closing shift, but close to it. I was just supposed to stay in box all night, but after I closed up that, I went to help my other 10:15 friend with, cleaning up one of the Endgame theaters, because, you know, it's fucking insane. And technically, you know, we don't even have to do that, because we have a janitor who comes every night, who I've never met, but I would just feel bad if I didn't at least try to make his life a little easier during this hellish time. So I was in there sweeping up, and my friend's ride, well, he's not my friend, he's just my coworker. It's just faster to say friend. So his ride gets there, and he's like, okay, I gotta go, I'll send someone to help you. And, you know, nobody came, so I'm just sitting there alone. And I finish it up, my back hurts, my bones are cold, everything's horrible. And as I'm dragging out the trash can, because we have to bring a big trash can in with us because so many people just leave their buckets of fucking popcorn and their shit all over the place, so we gotta fix that. And as I'm dragging it out, it just topples over, like spilling, you know, melted icy drinks, water all over the carpet, and I'm like, fuck, you know? So I have to use my hands to pick up some of this sopping wet trash to put it back in, because that shit's too big to sweep into my little dustpan. I get the rest in the pan, I go get some fucking towels to stomp on the water on the carpet, and then finally, like 20 minutes after I'm supposed to be gone, I'm gone. I'm tired as hell, and then Saturday happens and I'm dead. And then Sunday was a thing. So what happened Sunday was I was completely fried. Like, my brain don't work, that type of thing. And, like, I'm just, like, dead. I can barely function. I can hardly stand. Like, I'm literally this close to passing out on the floor. And I feel shitty about it. I want to keep pushing myself to do better. Because, as I've stated, I love my job, and I don't want to, like, leave my coworkers and managers when they need me and we're understaffed. So I kind of just push myself way past my limit. I have to sit down for a second, almost having a straight up panic attack. Then I walk over to my 3 managers who are just sitting there. And then I start crying as I'm trying to ask to go home. And because I don't fucking like people to see me cry, I cover my face, right? And I start walking towards the break room, and there's this big column, like, in front of the door, right? And because I'm stupid and I'm doing this, I don't see it, I collide with it head on, and I just fall to the floor crying in front of everybody. You can probably still see, like, yeah. Yeah, see how it's, like, doing that? Yeah, I had a fat-ass bump on my head from that, and, yeah, I mean, everyone was fine about it. They, like, went into the theater to get my mom, who was seeing Endgame, and she took me home. So, that was Sunday. Literally, it was out of, like, a fucking Adam Sandler movie. Me crying, walking into a fucking pillar, and then collapsing on the floor in a puddle of my own tears. And if that does not sum up the whole weekend, I do not know what does. So, if you have a small, locally run theater that is hiring, or you're considering submitting an application or something, I absolutely recommend it. It's genuinely a great experience. I wouldn't recommend the big chain theaters. They're train wrecks always. But little local theaters, that's where you want to go if you're interested in a movie theater job. So, I genuinely cannot tell you if that was everything that happened, because I fucking beat the shit out of my head, and I probably knocked out a few memories. But, you know, all in all, it was good. It was fine. I lived. I laughed. I cried. It's, yeah. Bye.